Knoll Nation, how are we doing today? It's your boy George from the Renegade Report, live here at the FSU Voice of College Football postgame show, live from Lot 14, right here outside of Madison Social, between Madison Social and Doak Campbell. What a game, guys. What a game. Florida State comes out and handles business. It wasn't the smoothest thing we've ever seen in Knoll Nation, but at the end of the day, the boys got it together and pulled out a victory, scored 66 points. Mike Norvell could have went about this game in a lot of different ways, but I really respect what we did tonight. We attacked that team straight into the teeth of their defense. We passed the ball all first half, might have ran it twice the entire first half. Guys, the one thing we did not want to see today was drops. We had a plague of drops in the first half of the LSU game. It kept LSU safe. We went into halftime down 3 points due to it, and they struck again here in the first half. Johnny Wilson had 2 or 3 guys. I was in the stadium. We watched the game from the Champions Club. Excuse me if I get a stat wrong. I'll have to watch the replay. We'll have a further discussion Wednesday in studio for the live stream. But that first half, guys, it was just sloppy. I imagine Mike Norvell is tearing into those guys right about now about all the drops, all the different just mistakes. We just had too many mistakes. It's, against a cupcake, if you will, call it opponent, Southern Miss. They're a talented team. They had a good running game. They have a freshman quarterback who's pretty good, we talked about. And some receivers that could make plays. The defense played great. Held them, under 2 scores for most of the game. But we got to do something about those drops. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm not going to harp on it for the whole entire show. But your best players on the entire field cannot drop passes. We started off the game, Jaheim Bell had a big drop. Johnny Wilson had a couple shots. I'll have to look back. I'm even pretty sure Keon Coleman had a drop. But that's the last we're going to talk about it. We're going to move past the drops. It is what it is, okay? Besides that, this team dominated. Jordan Travis went out there, made his Houdini plays. He did not hurt his Heisman chances at all. He was putting the ball on the money all first half. And, man, I'm sure you all seen that one running play where they had him dead to right. The guy ran. He had to have run 50, 60 yards to pick up that first down. Mike Norvell was extremely aggressive the entire first half, going for fourth downs just about every single time except for one time I think he kicked the field goal. But, guys, what a play by Jordan Travis on that scramble. And along those same lines, Mr. Keon Coleman out here hurdling guys. You should have been in the stadium when Keon Coleman jumped over that guy. I'm here to tell you, Doak Campbell went nuts. I don't care if we're up 20, 30 points. The guy is electric. That dude was standing straight up, a good 6 foot, 6'2". The second he even started to show a tackle, Keon Coleman jumped and cleared him. It wasn't close. Guys, you got to go on Twitter, whatever the case may be, find that picture of him jumping. It's unreal. He looks like an Olympic athlete out there, guys. Excuse me, but yeah, Keon Coleman was unreal. Defense came and did their thing. I'm not going to spend all night talking about the starters. It is what it is. The biggest thing in this game was getting the youngsters in there. And boy, howdy, did the youngsters get in there and play. I want to talk to you guys about Tate Rodemaker. Tate Rodemaker came into that game, and he was ready for his opportunity. The guy was out there dropping dimes. Everybody in the stands was blown away. If you've been watching, I'm sure everybody watched the Colorado versus Nebraska game. You saw Colorado TCU, and you heard the talk around Shadur Sanders. Man, the guy just puts it on guys, where they can catch it in stride and make plays. And that's exactly what Tate Rodemaker was doing out here for your Florida State Seminoles tonight. Great pass after great pass. We got some young guys touchdowns. Not to jump back, but in the first half, our most valuable receiver, our most short-handed receiver was Darion Williamson. That guy was making plays all over the place, so I'm happy to see him get a touchdown. Happy to see him get plenty of play. Destin Hill, Edna Carr, Louisiana prospect, gets his first big catch in the game. He had a chance at a big-time touchdown play. Unfortunately, it got broke up. They played good defense on it. But I'm telling you guys, he was open quite a bit this evening on different reads where Jordan Travis went the other way. And Destin Hill is going to be a player for the Florida State Seminoles. He's going to be a player for us for a while. You guys throw your comments up there if you got any questions. If there's anything you want to know what it looked like in the stadium, any questions with the team, anything we saw, throw them up there. We appreciate you guys joining us. It's a great time to be a Nole, guys. There's mayhem. I'm talking about mayhem across the country. Alabama goes down. Texas beat them by 10 points, I believe. North Carolina, 2 overtimes to end up taking care of App State. 2 overtimes. And that was the team we were worried about, folks. Clemson, Charleston Southern. Those guys were in a dogfight until the third quarter. It was like back and forth, back and forth. I believe it was 17-14. And then all of a sudden you turned around and they finally settled down. I'm sure Charleston Southern started getting tired. That Division I depth caught up to them. And next thing you know, Clemson ran it out. But guys, look forward for the Noles to be at least number 3 in the polls, with Bama dropping out. And we've got a trip to Boston College. I'm not sure if it's going to be a noon Eastern game or one of those 3 o'clock Eastern games. I'm hoping for the 3 o'clock Eastern game. These 840 kicks are tough. I got to tell you, these 840 kicks are tough. The running clock, kind of figured it would help shorten this game. No siree, Bob. It was a good 4 hours long. 4 hours long of just, play after play after play. I'd like to see the stat sheet, see how many plays the offense got to run, because we really got to see a ton of guys, a ton of young guys got into the game, like I said earlier. Again, thank you guys for joining. I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors here real quick. Ticketmaster. They've been a great help, great sponsor. Check it out on the banner below. Get with those guys. We really appreciate you joining us. Again, like I said, if you just got in here, what a game, guys. What a game. What a game. It's been a long, long time since Doak Campbell has been stacked to the gills like that. And I mean stacked. Guys, that was a fully sold out stadium. Fully loaded. There's not an open seat in the house. If there was an open seat, it was in the Champions Club where we were sitting. But if you saw what the inside of that thing looked like, it was packed out. Unreal, packed out. But I'm here to tell Nole Nation right now, if you can make it to a game, the Wi-Fi works. Champions Club has Wi-Fi, and it worked all game. It really worked awesome. So if you got a chance to go in that Champions Club, for sure do it. We didn't get a chance to see A.J. Duffy. We all wanted to see A.J. Duffy get out there and see what he could do. Unfortunately, I guess he's dinged up. Something going on. I'm sure somebody will ask Coach Norvell in his press conference right now. He started that thing off with a bit of a smart comment when he came into the 840 kickoffs. Woo! You got to love it for these college athletes. By the time they get done with their meetings and everything else, it'll probably be a good 2 in the morning. I don't want to just completely let these guys off the hook. They've got to show up and be ready for these games. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter how many short days of rest you're coming off of. Johnny Wilson has to make those catches. I promised y'all I wasn't going to harp on this thing, but it was tough. It was really tough to see those guys in such a great position and Jordan Travis making these beautiful throws and just all for naught. We had guys running wide open all night. Like I said, Jordan was making great throws. We just got to fix those drops. A lot of people have been asking me about Ayobami Tafase. Was he hurt? Why haven't we been seeing him? Well, he got into the game tonight. He's number 91. If you look at the highlights, he took Robert Cooper's old number. He didn't have a great game, but he got those first snaps in, made some plays in the second half. I'm ready to go look at the tape and we'll see how he did. But all up and along that, those rookies, man. Q Jones made a couple plays. He really made up for that kind of rough series our young guys got against LSU when they got in and gave the touchdown. Quindarius Jones, number 13. I'm having a brain fart here. Number 13 in the slot. Anyways, number 13, the true freshman, he dropped a pick. I feel so bad for him in the back of the end zone. He was in perfect position, couldn't bring that thing in. Conrad Hussey, the same thing. Not in garbage time. In the first half, Conrad Hussey came out and made a big play. Unfortunately, he could not hold on to the ball to the ground. It would have been great to see Conrad Hussey get that interception, which brings me to the one big concern we have coming out of the game. Number one, Akeem Dent went down. It looked like he hyperextended his knee. I'm sure we'll find out more from Coach Norvell. It did not look good from where we were sitting. It wasn't a contact deal where if somebody ran into his knee, it just looked like maybe it popped out of socket, popped on him, whatever the case may be, and then popped back in. I'm not a doctor. Don't take my words for fact. This is what I saw from the bleachers. But what I do know is he was helped off the ground under his own power with the help of a couple guys. He limped off the field. He didn't need the cart or anything like that. So, Noel Nation, let's have our prayers with Akeem Dent that he gets better and there's no major injuries there with him. Also, while we're on the subject, we played a great LSU team last week. Miami played a great game against the SEC Power and Texas A&M this week. I don't know what to tell you guys. I did not believe in Miami coming into this year. I just didn't believe after what we saw last year, all the chaos, guys leaving, guys coming. We all know they've had the talent. I believe they're up around a 60% blue chip ratio. They've got guys, especially on that defensive line and offensive line. Cristobal's done a very good job of coming in there and getting guys on the line. But they smashed Texas A&M, guys. I mean, they smashed them. Bobby Petrino goes over to Texas A&M. In week one, they looked great. We kind of thought, okay, he's going to let Petrino run the air raid. They're going to do this thing. They're going to, have a high-flying offense. I didn't get to watch the whole game because I was out here working, but everybody I've talked to said it looked just like Jimbo's offense, just with somebody else calling the plays. So I'll wait to hold judgment on that. I hope that's what it was. I hope Texas A&M was just terrible. But give credit where it's due. Miami looked great. And it looks like that showdown in Tallahassee could end up being a ranked matchup. If you look at Miami's schedule, it gets tough late. They play us late. They play Clemson late. They play all kind of teams late. But they'll probably win their next 4 or 5 games, guys. I'm just being honest. Their schedule's super backloaded. This Texas A&M game was the kind of bugaboo early where you're going to find out about them, and they proved their mettle. They had a good game, so hats off to them. And we get ready to have them here in Doak Campbell and take care of business sometime in November. All right. What next? See if we got any questions here. Edwin Joseph. Thank you, Ramon. Edwin Joseph. He was flying around out there, and, man, he had a great play right in the end zone, played the ball perfect, came right to him, just couldn't squeeze it in. He's going to be a ball player. He was all over the place. Quindarius Jones, I'd like to see him. I don't know if he could probably gain a few pounds, but the guy played his assignment, and he closed. He got beat a couple times. Or I'm not going to say he got beat. The guy got behind him a couple times, but he closed and broke up 2 or 3 different passes deep down the sideline and man coverage. So I was real happy to see him bounce back. But, yeah, Edwin Joseph, he was a beast out there. He was an absolute beast. Both the safeties were playing great. It really stinks that Akeem Dent had to come off. There's one play in particular that this team ran that Mike Norvell and Adam Fuller are going to have to get cleaned up. If you watched the Colorado game last week, there was a play that Travis Hunter made an absolutely ridiculous, and I'm talking about a ridiculous interception where he's playing corner and he acts like he's going to follow the guy on the slant or the post, and then he breaks off onto the next guy and just dove and intercepted the ball. Well, 2 different times tonight, the Florida State defender did not pass that slant or that post off to the middle. They followed it and left wide receivers wide open in the end zone. The first one went for a touchdown. The second one, we got lucky and it was dropped. But we cannot let that happen in any of these big games. That's something that's going to have to be cleaned up. They found it in the first quarter and they identified it, and they ran that play 2 or 3 times, and guys kept getting mixed up on it. But I have no doubt they'll go in there and figure something out there, and Mike Norvell will have a game plan. Also, I had several people texting me, "Why aren't we running the ball? Why aren't we running the ball?" I opened the show with this, but in case you weren't here when I was talking about it, guys, Mike Norvell knows he could have went into this game and ran the ball all night and won the game, but they wanted to work on that passing game. They wanted to get these receivers to make up for those drops last week. They wanted, in my opinion, to throw into the teeth of the Southern Miss defense. If you watch any of their highlights, they held Alcorn State to 0 passing yards last week. So the strength of their team was in corners and safeties, and they were super, super sticky on receivers the entire game against Alcorn State. They played a good game tonight, but the guys that we have, they're just on another level. They weren't going to hold him, but we let him off the hook all first half. That's all there really is to it. Can't let it happen. Got to do a better job on those guys. Again, I want to thank everybody for being in here. The Florida State post-game show. I want to thank our sponsor, Ticketmaster. Again, I want to thank our sponsors, Ticketmaster. Again, the banner's rolling on the bottom. We've got a promo code for you, BIG, for $10 off of any purchase of at least $100 using the promo code BIG20 for $20 off any purchase of at least $300 at Ticketmaster.com. So you guys check out that deal. Go hit it. It'll help us out. We really appreciate you guys. Moving on. Boston College next week. Woo! I don't know what kind of practice or what kind of drills or what kind of voluntary workouts these wide receivers are going to be doing between now and Saturday, but I can guarantee you that the drops, they can't happen next week. I can only imagine what Norvell has to say or how he's feeling about this whole thing, given we were let off the hook, and then for so much of it to happen today. There's also a little bit of Jordan Travis kind of going for the big play in the first half when he had a lot of, first reads open over the middle. Just a sloppy first half. Overall, just a sloppy first half. We got to get that cleaned up by next week with Boston College. Jeff Hafley is going into his 2nd or 3rd year. They look terrible, guys. I can't bullshit you guys. I wanted to tell you guys that if we came in and we didn't have our stuff together, Boston College would get us next week. But if we're being 100% honest with ourselves, they are just not it this year. They're struggling again. But 1 week after that, 2 weeks from tonight, Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. The biggest game, I guess, left on the schedule, guys. So we got to get that thing cleaned up. Go handle business in Boston. Take care of business, guys. That's all it comes down to. We can't give plays away. We finally have a team with the depth to wear guys down, and that's going to work, guys. It's going to work on 99% of the teams we play. Outside of a couple, maybe a Clemson, if they hang tight, we're not going to be able to wear them down. Maybe a Miami coming off their performance. But if we're going to make it into that playoff, those plays cannot happen. If I'm going to stand here and I'm going to talk to you guys about being a national championship contender, a playoff contender, those plays cannot happen. I just can't get over it, but it is what it is. It's past. like I said, I'm sure they're going to have big time workouts, everything else during the week. I don't want to harp too much more on the X's and O's of the game. We did not see Robert Scott tonight. I'm sure that's something you noticed. I don't have anything I can share with you on his status, just that he did not play tonight. And with this game, not really worried about him coming in or worried about the Boston College for that matter. I'm sure Mike Norvell let us know what was going on, whether he was just resting him up, yada yada. We'll find out. But just cross your fingers and hope we can get him back for Clemson, because we're going to need all 8 guys for that game. Let's see if we got any questions here in the chat. Just some compliments. Appreciate you, Ramon. Ramon James. If you guys don't know Ramon James, he's a great guy, man. He really supports all these different Florida State channels. And we sure appreciate you for joining us. Same thing with Mike Myrick. Go Knowles. Mike definitely has us. Man, what a long ways we've came, guys. I want you guys to just think about where we were in 2020, 2019, to where we are today. It's really a beautiful thing. We've talked about it before. College football comes in waves. You're not just going to become good on your own. You have to put in the work. You have to have the program in place. You have to have the booster organization in place. You have to have the facilities in place. You've got to have the players on campus. But at the end of the day, it also just comes in waves. Guys, this is a year of transition. The Bama wave, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's over. We're going to give, Nick Saban, see what he does the rest of the year, but it's on thin ice, guys. I don't see Bama making it all the way. They just dropped the game to a Texas team that is stocked and loaded. It's not like they lost to just nobody, but this, I believe, is the second out-of-conference loss for Bama during the season since, like, Nick Saban's first year when they lost to ULM and Florida State. I'm trying to think. North Carolina, like I said, North Carolina disappointed us, but they pulled out the win. Georgia, we still haven't got to see what Georgia's all about. Unfortunately, Georgia doesn't play hardly anybody the entire year. Tennessee, nothing special. They barely got past the Virginia team, who stunk it up today. They did not look any better against lower class competition. Tennessee, I believe, was tied with Austin Peay going into half, maybe something 6-6. Just a rough time for a lot of schools around the country outside of Texas, Florida State. LSU supposedly had a rough start to their game. It was something like 14-10 for the longest time, so they finally pulled away with it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, guys, we can be aggravated. The first half was slow, had a lot of drops, but this team is just getting started. It's just getting started. It's going to be a fun ride. We got a lot of games left to play, and I just can't be more excited to be a Florida State Seminole right now. The atmosphere. Guys, this thing was packed out like we were playing Florida or Miami. We sit right at about 79,000 people. This thing was rocking. The new LED lights in the stadium. I know the photographers out there aren't big on those style lights. They mess up photography. But for the game experience, it was amazing, man. I'm talking about hype. Just something about the essence inside Doak Campbell right now. There's just a feeling around the team, around the program, around the facilities, that Florida State's back, baby. Florida State's back. I'm not gonna lie to you. When LSU was struggling today, I was awful worried. I'm sitting here thinking, man, was that win what we thought it's gonna be? What's going on with the SEC as a whole? Do we know anything about college football? It all comes down to the one-time transfer, guys. This thing started in 2021. You've heard all offseason. You've heard all the narratives. Oh, you can't sustain the portal. all you've got is a bunch of portal guys. You don't recruit high school. You don't have high school guys out there. Well, the more I'm watching these teams like Clemson trot freshman after freshman after true freshman and true freshman out there and struggle and losing guys to the portal due to it, due to the struggle, I could not be happier to have Mike Norvell and have all the transfers we have on our team. And when you look around the nation, parity's here, and it's here to stay as long as that one-time transfer is here. These teams like Alabama, these teams like Georgia, these teams like Ohio State, they're not going to be able to get this number one class out of the state of Florida and just hide these guys on the depth chart. You're not going to have a Jermaine Johnson third on the depth chart. You're not going to keep the Jaheim Bell at a school like South Carolina. It's going to be really, really hard to do. You know, they brought in, I can't think of his name, but they brought in another all-world tight end this year. Well, if they don't pick their game up, they're going to mess around and lose him in the portal too. So we've talked about it ad nauseum, but, you know, looking to our main rival in the ACC, what an advantage. What an advantage we're going to have over Clemson, just the fact that they refuse to shop that portal. What's Dabo Swinney going to do? Is he going to go with the portal? Is he going to decide to make that jump? Or is he going to just stay hard-headed? Because if he's going to stay hard-headed, as long as Florida State's in the ACC, good luck. Maybe it's a Miami, Florida State battle. If you'd have told me before the season that I'd be leaning towards Miami having a chance to beat Clemson and make it to the ACC championship, I'd have said, you guys, 1-800-CHARTER. Y'all gotta admit me because something is not right. Something is wrong with me. But hey, man, it is what it is. It's a crazy, crazy year in college football. We've got a Heisman candidate in Jordan Travis 13. We've got a guy in Keon Coleman who is just an absolute animal, a freak athlete, guys. I could talk about Keon Coleman all night long. Crisp in and out of his breaks. He's just got a gear. I wish I could. He's not Sammy Watkins. He's not Kelvin Benjamin. If I had to pick anybody to compare him to, I guess an AJ Green type, somebody that just runs, just runs out of the gym, jumps out of the gym. He's got a ways to go. He could probably develop his route running a little bit to be up on that level. But make no mistake about it, Keon Coleman will likely be the second wide receiver taken in the draft, and will likely be in the first round because the dude is he's just an animal. There's no getting around it. Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, Ramon James. A lot of people talk on Twitter, they like to brag about this quarterback stats, that quarterback stats in high school. Croman Hawk plays in an offense where he's just not going to have crazy numbers. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's dinged up. This guy gutted it out Friday night. I wish I could have watched the game with Ramon. Luke Croman Hawk, 2024 quarterback for the Noles, gutted it out, and he beat a team that had not lost. I'm not sure if they hadn't lost a conference game or just had not lost a game in something like 617 days. And the last time that they were beat was by Benedictine. So here they come through and beat them again. That was a great team they played, and they beat 31-24. Yeah, definitely look out. Recruits. We had some recruits at this game. I'll get into it later. I'll do an article or we'll touch on it maybe on the Wednesday live stream. There's some guys here that I'm not really supposed to talk about, and there's some guys I'm allowed to talk about, kind of that kind of thing. So we'll just leave it at that. There was tons of recruits here. The recruiting section was slap full. You can imagine the kind of high schools around here, Jacksonville area, that showed up. It was awesome to see. This thing ain't slowing down, guys. This train is rolling right down the tracks. Rolling right down the tracks, guys. With Florida State currently sitting at number 4 in the AP poll. I believe we're number 5 in the coaches. Alabama goes down to Texas. I'm thinking number 3. What do you guys got? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Where do you got the Noles in the AP and coaches poll tomorrow? What were your main takeaways from the game? let's keep this conversation going, and we'll keep the post game going for another couple minutes here. Again, I want to tell you guys, go use the promo code on the banner. Ticketmaster, they've been a great sponsor for us, jumped in to help us make this thing possible, keep it coming to you guys, and keep it growing and keeping it better. I know it's kind of not the best setup in the world tonight. Like I said, we're right outside of the stadium. This thing went until 11:30. I didn't want to go back to the hotel and get this show for you guys at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So we really appreciate you guys coming in and joining us. Absolutely, yeah. The team they played last night, Luke Kermahawk, took down Ware County, the 5A state champs. Like I said, hadn't lost in like 2 years since the last time they played Benedictine. So really a great game for those guys. And again, enter the promo code Big 10 on your orders for $100 or more, and get $20 off at checkout. The same thing, Big 20 for your purchases of $300 or more, and get $20 off at purchase. So check out Ticketmaster and go support the podcast and give them go get some stuff. Go buy some tickets. We sure appreciate you for joining us. Let's see if we got anything. Anybody got any questions in the chat? We don't get any questions here pretty quick. We may go another 10 minutes here on this. Guys, we're 2-0. Before the season, everybody was talking about, can we go 3-1? Can we split Clemson and LSU? Can we handle business in between and not drop any games? Well, guys, we got LSU in our pocket. Clemson coming up in 2 weeks. We took care of business tonight. All that's left to do, go take care of Boston College, and then it's big time, prime time in Clemson and Death Valley. I'm not sure who they play this week. I'm pretty sure they got another cupcake to get ready for us. But this Clemson game is going to be huge, guys. It is going to be huge. Will Shipley, can we slow him down? I'm not too worried about, Cade Klubnik had another rough game today. I believe it was part of their rough start. I believe had a fumble and a pick in the first quarter. But I like our Noles, guys. I like our Noles. I picked this to win 51-21 tonight. I was off, obviously, by a good bit. We ended up winning 66-13, I believe. Don't quote me. But, yeah, this game was over at halftime. And really, I hate to say it, but if I had to pick the cleaner half, I'd probably say the second half with the youngins in there. Those guys really put on a show. I couldn't be prouder of the young guys. I want to brag on the starters, but just too many mistakes. But the one thing that we didn't let it do, we didn't let it slow us down. It didn't let it hurt the morale of the team. Nobody went into the garbage can. Nobody was fighting on the sidelines. It was just an overall, outside of the drops, just an overall laid back game. A lot of people got touches. Jerry Jones got a pick 6 in the game. I was super happy for Jerry Jones. He made a big play. A lot of young plays. Really, young players really got to shine. Super happy Destin Hill got his first catch again, like I said. It's just a great time to be a Knoll, guys. It's a great time to be a Knoll. Thank you guys for joining us. You got us another comment coming here. Yeah, Castellanos will probably start for BC. I'm not going to spend much time on that, but that is pretty cool. I guess he came from the same team we were just talking about that Luke Kermahawk beat. Like I said, Boston College had a rough day. Boston College barely takes home the victory against Holy Cross in a sloppy game. I kind of feel for Jeff Afton, man. He came into that situation, taking over for Steve Adazio, trying to make a culture change. He's got a great offense. I think he's a great coach. I think he's just in a tough spot. Tough to get kids to come to Boston to play. There's really not any talent to pull from. But at the end of the day, guys, this is an ACC ball club. So our Noles cannot get complacent. They have to handle business, which they will. I'm not going to give you guys a score prediction on the BC game. We'll knock that out later in the week, maybe on Wednesday's show. Make sure you guys join us Wednesday right here, live on the FSU Voice of College Football. Myself, the Renegade Report, Chris Frazier of Spear Addicts, Big Game James Coleman. Also, sometimes Logan from Noel Game Days will stop in to hang out with us. But besides that, if you guys don't have any more questions, we're probably going to call it a night. It was a great time out here, guys. The Noles got the victory. The championship run is still on. Noles likely to move up in the polls. We got a lot of guys, new catches. Nothing crazy, no major injuries outside of possibly Akeem Dent. We will get with you guys as soon as we possibly can to let you know what's going on with Akeem Dent. Hopefully it's nothing major. Like I said, he limped off the field under his own power, which is a great sign. Us Seminoles are so snake bitten. It's been so long since we've had a team like this. So long since one little injury or one little question mark here, one guy coming out of the game just doesn't totally kill us. So we hope we get Akeem Dent back. But if for whatever reason we don't, Kevin Knowles, Conrad Hussey, we've got some guys to fill in. I'm super impressed with Conrad Hussey. I know I keep telling you I'm about to end this and I keep rambling on, but go watch the tape. Number 12 in Garnet, Conrad Hussey, the freshman out of, I believe, American Heritage. Y'all don't get mad at me if I got that one wrong. I'm pretty sure it's American Heritage. Pat Surtain has these DBs playing great, and I just really love what I saw out of Edwin Joseph and Conrad Hussey. They both look great. Both dropped picks, unfortunately, but we can't harp on those two freshmen for dropping picks. I won't mention any names, but given what we had on offense, I don't want you guys to think I'm dogging these guys. This is just what we're doing. We're talking about the game, the conversation that was held in the stands, on couches everywhere. It is what it is. Just uncharacteristic drops out of a bunch of guys. You can't really say that about Johnny because he's had his issues, but yeah, I don't know if it was just guys being lackadaisical, short week, whatever the case may be, whatever excuse you want to throw in there, but it just cannot happen again. And again, guys, thank you guys for joining us. We've got a promo code for you guys. Promo BIG for $10 off of any purchase of at least $100 or more. And then the same thing, code BIG20 for $20 off of a purchase of at least $300 or more at Ticketmaster.com. This is George with the Renegade Report, reporting right here for the FSU Voice of College Football. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Noel Nation. Keep supporting your team. If you're not a part of the boosters, if you aren't dealing with Battles In, if you aren't donating, hitting up Mark Rogers, whatever you can do to support your Florida State people and the people that support Florida State, get out there and do it. I'm pretty sure the 36 Degrees tailgate guys are going to be up and rolling at the game in Clemson in a couple weeks. So get over there, go hit the tailgate, go see those guys. Let's help make a difference, whether it be through Voice of College Football, Spear Addicts, STEM Media Group, all these great things. Go Noel. It's your boy George, Renegade Report. We'll see you guys next week.